Well, good afternoon everybody. I hope you've had a lovely day so far. It's been a bit of a gap since I last posted a video. I think that was Wednesday or Thursday morning. Wednesday night or Thursday morning. Probably Thursday morning to do with the crafts. I did make another video of the garden on Thursday to post on Friday because I knew I was going to be stupid busy. But that one was not a good one, so I quit that one. I wanted to just show you what I've been doing in the front garden, because since I last spoke to you on Wednesday we had a really big delivery of wood chips, and it came, instead of 5 o'clock, it came at, what was it, 6:30? Yeah, 6:30 in the evening. It was a huge one. It covered this entire driveway, more than 4 foot deep. So I was quite annoyed that it came that late, but at the same time it was free, so it was frantic and heavy shoveling for 2 hours, because by 8:30 I stopped because I was physically finished and it was too dark, and I needed to spend at least a few minutes with my grandson before he went to bed. So that's half of the wood chip pile. What was there earlier in the day was still 2 tons of last year's chips. So I put all of it in this front garden. I piled it high, up to 2.5 foot deep, around the whole path, and then I watered the garden properly on all the beds, and then I sprayed the mulch all around the plants. Oh my goodness, look at this. Look at that. What is that? Flying ants. They're telling me it's going to rain soon. When the flying ants come out, there will be rain soon. When the flying ants come out, there'll be rain soon. Up to a week before the rain comes, they'll come out. But I have seen them out 24 hours before rain, and once up to a week. But we did get rain, and boy did we get the rain. So we'll be watching out for the rain. It was supposed to be raining on Bank Holiday Monday, but it didn't. It was a lovely day. So all of the wood chips are piled up. The ground was watered first, because mulch acts not just as a barrier to stop the water evaporating too quickly from the soil, but it also prevents too much water from getting in the soil. So if you mulch before you put the water down, it'll stop the water getting to the plants. Okay, let's not step on these ants. Oh, they're all over the self-heal. Look at that. All over the self-heal on the flowers. That is interesting. Not seen that before. Oh, what happened there? Okay. Right, I'm going to show you what I did with the rest of it in the back. Oh, first, look at that. Isn't that not huge? Gorgeous. Right. Excuse me. So, right. Ta-da! I did some tidying up, and I now have space for more planting, for more seed sowing and transplanting. I moved the courgettes on here because there's old shelving and leftover wire from the trailer in, and I've put the courgettes up in here because it's warmer and more protected. So maybe we'll extend that a bit more, get a bit more fruit out of that plant, as long as I keep feeding it. So there you go. Tidy it up. Oh, I can't zoom out now. I zoomed in and it's not zooming out. There you go. The beans are maturing nicely on there. Not many of the fine ones left to harvest. They'll just go to beans now. I'm not sure if you can eat those as legume beans, but whatever they'll be seeds for next year. I'll have a look. The Jerusalem artichokes are getting really heavy now and pushing the trellising over. I'm going to have to do something about that. Tomatoes ripening nicely on the vine. Starting to turn now. That's really nice. I've got one red tomato off there. It just fell off. And there it is. And some more of them ripening there. That's really lovely. They're all ripening out in the sunshine. Oh, and I bought some heather, some kaluna, because I found a recipe for a pain reliever ointment in the permaculture magazine, so I'm going to try that out. Obviously I need a lot more kaluna than that, but even if I just get 1 jar's worth out of it, it'll be fine. And yes, I know I would normally be better off making the oils for it in the spring, but I will do what I can now, and then I'll make fresh ones in the spring. Might not be as effective now because it's late, but I will make some anyway. And if it lasts us till the spring and I can make new ones, then that's great, because they'll be more powerful in the spring. Okay, everything's still a bit jungly here. Not done much on this lane, this little path. New flowers of the yarrow come out, but obviously this time of the year they're much smaller. They were huge in the beginning of the year. Going over now. But the new ones are much smaller. Still as powerful on the scent, but much smaller. So I shall enjoy them while they're out. The amaranth are starting to change colour. I don't know if you can see it. There's coming an orangey tint to the flowers now. They're starting to change colour, so something's going to be happening there soon. I need to harvest some more corn because they're ready. The celeriac, parsnip and swede are doing alright. They're doing fine. I think they need more water though. With all that leaf there, they're not getting much water from the rain when it rains. So I will I'll make sure I water that, because even if it does rain, it's not going to get much, is it? This is where some of the wood chips went. I just dumped 1, 2, 3, 4 wheelbarrow loads in this area. There are 3 wheelbarrow loads that area, that path. 1, 2, 3, 3 big wheelbarrow loads this side, and there was another 3 big wheelbarrow loads this side, and raked all the way around. And then I have to step back for you to see the size of this mound. Okay, that is a huge mound. Okay, so it's the same amount as the front garden. That is how much wood chips there was. Now, as I said, I stopped shoveling at 8:30 on Wednesday night. However, there was still at least a ton left on the driveway, which I just leveled out to park the car off the road overnight, and I finished the rest on Wednesday evening. So it was quite an exhausting stretch of shoveling, but it felt good. And I'm really grateful because we had those wood chips from a tree surgeon for free. Yes, they're fresh and they're no good for putting around the plants immediately, because for the first year from fresh they will more likely draw nitrates out of the soil than put any in. But after that they will put some in, so that's why the year-old stuff I put around the plants. The fresh stuff this year is fine to go on the paths, as long as I feed the beds they're next to. And of course now I've put so much mulch down, those mounded beds are level with the path. So it means we're building soil. If only I could get that amount of compost for free, that would be absolutely wonderful. However, oh, the smell in the garden's gorgeous. So hopefully I'll be able to turn quite a lot of this fresh wood chip into compost. The ones in the front didn't turn to compost because I had a tarpaulin over it, and only the top 4 inches of the wood chips actually got any rain. The rest of it was still bone dry. It was bone dry, so it didn't compost down. However, it did fill with mycelium. and a huge amount of spores, mold spores. So when I did move it, by Thursday morning I was very chesty, quite a rattly chest and cold type symptoms just from shoveling that. So it was not a good idea to shovel all those wood chips without a face mask. But it was 20 degrees out there, and shoveling, well, how much was it of this pile? The new pile was about 4.5-5 ton. So yeah, I shoveled 4 ton of wood chips in 20 degrees heat, even at 6:30 to 8:30 in the evening. So yeah, there was no way I'd have survived the face mask, but it would have helped to prevent my chest getting all chesty. Let's hope it passes. So there you go, a huge amount of wood chips. Some of it I should be able to compost as long as I turn it and add some urine and water to it as I turn it to keep it moist. Then it should make compost. So I have plenty of exercise ahead of me because I don't have chickens to turn it for me. So yeah, I shall be keeping warm and fit during the winter. No rain since last weekend when we had torrential rains, but those ants in the front are telling me that we're going to get rain soon, so we'll see. But they tend to be pretty accurate within 3 days to a week. Oh, I put some of the old chips around the tomato yesterday, and even that looks like it's starving the plant a little. So I'll give it a feed in a bit with some bone meal that I have left over from before. Once all that's finished, I'm not going to bother buying any more. I'll just stick with things like urine, nettle, dandelion and comfrey for feed. I don't want to be bothered with much else. And compost, of course. So the more I can produce here at home and not buy in, the better. So I'll just use up what I've got and then not replace it again. That's part of my zero waste journey anyway. There you go. Everything is still growing. Some things are ripening. Deadheading of the buddleia every now and again so I can keep getting new flowers and keep it smaller because I don't want it to be a giant bush right here. I'll let the one in the front get nice and big. Very interesting to see what's going to happen with these amaranth. Their flowers are ripening now and going to get look at that, they're already setting seed. I don't know if you can focus in on that. Look, looks like there's seed there. So yeah, I shall have plenty of green manure over winter if any sprout, because they will self-seed everywhere. Look at the seeds growing there from the lamb's lettuce from last year. I'll just let them carry on. I'll just let them carry on and grow and keep the soil covered. With a rocket, I'll gather the seed pods so I can sow them where I want them, and in fact even grow some as microgreens over winter. You can see this root ball over there munched completely as it was damaged by the cabbage root fly, and then the wood lice set in, and it's still alive, but it's a tiny plant, definitely not surviving, whereas these ones are a little bit better. Yeah, I have been harvesting bits and bobs off them, but I probably should have had more ready to go through the winter so that I could harvest through the winter as well for fresh greens. These will still be okay to harvest through the winter, and I've got a few more ready to plant out so that we have stuff by the spring. Then by the spring we'll have fresh greens still. So hopefully we'll still have stuff to harvest even during the so-called hungry gap. Oh, come on. There you go, got my wires caught. There you go, that's an update. And I'll post this today, being Saturday, just as a catch up so I can start afresh next week. But I have been busy. Oh look, the asters flowering in the back. Oh, and look at that, the gladioli. They're starting to flower. Isn't that beautiful? Of course it's facing the sun because that's where it wants to face the sun. All living things are drawn to the light of the sun and the warmth and the energy. Look at that. Look at that. Beautiful. Gorgeous. Oh look, there's some tomatoes ripened on that plant under there that I just let go. Oh, lovely. These potatoes are ready to come out already. The plants are going yellow. The flowers are starting to go over. Beautiful flowers, look at that. Really pretty, but they'll go over soon. The leaves are starting to die down. Still new flowers on the alpine strawberries, and look at that. Just in there. For alpine strawberries, that's quite big. If my dog saw me now, she'd be here waiting. Because Buttons loves strawberries. And even the alpine strawberries. Our last dog who died before, he used to help himself to pick in the alpine strawberries off the bushes. Would regularly come out, find him nuzzling strawberries out of the bushes. Now it's going over. Unusual because they're evergreen. Maybe it doesn't like that spot. I'll have to look at what's happening there. Might just move it elsewhere. But there you go. Oh, let's have a look. Oh, there's soft walking under that now. Very soft underfoot. Let's see, how are these doing? Oh, don't tell me the birds have had the fruit. Yep. There's one left there of my Chilean guava. Very small. Oh, there's another one. Look at that. Not ready yet. There's another one down there. So we have a couple of fruit left. There's one there. There was a few more here, but I think the birds might have had them. Especially by this time of year when other plants are already gone over and lost their fruit because their season's past. I just spotted a raspberry. Look at that. A late fruiting raspberry. Look at that. I spotted it, it's mine. Oh, it's a good one. And this is new growth for next year. Is that also raspberry or is that the thornless blackberry? Oh, I don't know. We'll soon see next year. Sweet Williams have come up with more flowers again, even though they went over earlier by June. We got some new flowers on them. So it pays off leaving them to just carry on. This pond is going yucky again, time to empty it. The mint is flowering and going over. Look at the hoverflies. Can you see them? I don't know if you can see it there. Yep, there it is by the mint flowers. Can you see that? Pollinating, drinking the nectar and carrying on. That's wonderful. So hoverflies everywhere. Oh, and there's more, lots of different ones. There's another one there, a different one again. Oh, it's gone. Saw the camera. It's a bit camera shy. Look at those flowers. Those are the Nepalese cabbage. Obviously the one in the front garden I planted out much later, so it grew into a beautiful big bush over winter and flowered in the spring this year. These ones have already gone to flower, but they're still beautiful, full of bees. Look at that, full of bees. Bumblebees. Is that a honeybee or a bumblebee at the back there? See, this is where, oh, and hoverflies and little wasps, parasitic wasps. Oh, look at them everywhere. That is wonderful. That is what is so full of life around these flowers, which just proves, I mean, the borage went over. There's more flowers going to come soon, but they've went over. I've chopped them down ready for more flowers to come, and in the meantime there's them to replace them, so the bees still have food while they're waiting for the borage to come back. And these are the same bees that had visited the borage. So they've come back to the same area. And look at that. I don't know if you can see the aphids, right? You see the aphids? And there is a beetle right there. A little flying insect. And they are going to be food for those little wasps and hoverflies. So there you go. That is wonderful. Oh, there's a hoverfly there. I don't know if you can see it. Oh, he's camera shy. They are so sharp. They must have perfect eyesight. Oh, Buttons, what are you eating now? So there you go. Neighbour's children having fun. I've been trying to convince him not to completely slab over his garden. To at least use borders around the edge for fruit trees or something. Because he's going to slab over his entire garden. Do you imagine the noise? So, I don't know. I had him in the garden visiting. Talking about all the possibilities. And the benefits of having some greenery. I've got him thinking. He has an apple tree in the garden, but let's hope he carries on growing something. So as you can hear, the noise reverberates there because he's got kennels and decking everywhere and a slight piece of lawn that he's going to be slabbing over. So let's hope I can twist his arm into growing something more, even around the boundaries. So there you go, working on my neighbours. Oh, this is a red cabbage that I was finished with in the fridge, and I left it. So this was, I'd finished chopping it and left it in the fridge for a bit longer. It started getting tiny little roots, and I just popped it on top of the soil and pressed it down, and within 3 days there were roots in there. It is rooted in and already getting flowers, which flowers are perfectly edible. So still some pretty fresh edible flowers and the possibility of seeds for red cabbage. So how can I go wrong with that? There you go. Some of the stuff needs a little bit of watering now. I did water this morning, but it needs more. It's been a very dry and very hot day. We had temperatures up to 27 on the front garden again today. So yeah, all's good. My husband said to me this morning, "Why are you growing weeds?" I said, "Darling, that's not weeds, that's my lettuce seeds." Because they look exactly like some weeds that grow. And yes, it doesn't look that pretty, but those are my free seeds. I'm leaving them to ripen there. Some will blow around, that's fine. But what I do pick, I will grow next year. And I'll have my own seeds. The leeks and the bunching onions over there are doing all right. Let's hope we can get them to grow stronger, ready for the winter. We still harvest some for the winter, and even in the spring if they're not mature enough through the winter. These chard, some of them are going to go in the front garden to overwinter. I've got some here that are ready to go out, so as soon as I've cleared those potato tubs, I'll put some chard there. Yeah, and these tubs over there at the back, I'm going to put one January King and one Brussels sprout plant in those tubs and let them go under there. In case we lose everything else, at least we'll have one of each plant growing through the winter. Here's my backup. And then I also want to, I did actually tidy up around there as well today. Much tidier, and I still have cardboard there for sheet mulch as well, but that's all tidied up. And I put this plastic tiny bit of offcut from the roof in along there just to keep it warmer in there. But I do want to rig up something along here at the edge of this side and that side, so I can create more shelter. So during the winter in this potting shed I can still grow some microgreens outdoors, because I don't have space indoors. I'll have 1, 2, maximum 3 windowsills where I could grow anything indoors. So I need to use space out here. So if I could get all of these brassicas planted out, and I mean the marshmallow could overwinter outside because they're perennial anyway. The celeriac, I might have to put in some of those black pots and against the fence because I might not have any bed space, I don't think. The corn will come out soon, and if the weather's good enough I shall put them in the bed where the corn was, as long as I can get hold of some more compost to mulch over the top. Because I don't have anything well rotted enough to mulch the top of that soil, and I do not want to put fresh shreddings of the plants there because that's just slug food. That just screams to the slugs, come and get me. So I just want to get compost. I'll see what I can find. If I can afford to get some compost, then that will be that problem solved. The brassicas will go in that bed over winter. Yeah, pretty exciting stuff. And I think I'll move the corn next year either to this side or that bed. That one's probably not wide enough. I need to make it much wider. The paths are already quite narrow, and I only just managed to get a wheelbarrow down there. So yeah, we'll see. But the corn could go here next year or in there, but that's not as long a bed. Could be wider, but we'll see. I'm still planning. Got some ideas that I was playing with here, but we'll see about that too. There's always plans afoot and always things changing. So anyway, we're heading on for half an hour already. I'm rabbiting on. So I shall love you and leave you all. Get on with it, and I shall speak to you soon. Bye.